Let's dive in. When Discovery Channel first introduced viewers to the Brown family in 2014, they presented a narrative that seemed almost unbelievable in our hyper-connected world. Billy Brown, his wife Amy, and their 7 children, Matt, Bam Bam, Bear, Gabe, Noah, Snowbird, and Rain, lived deep in the Alaskan wilderness, far removed from modern conveniences. They called themselves a wolf pack, hunting and gathering their food, building shelters from scratch, and developing their own dialect filled with terms like bush code and Browntown. The show offered viewers a glimpse into an alternative lifestyle that felt both nostalgic and impossible. A family that had chosen to reject modern society in favor of self-sufficiency and isolation. The appeal was immediate and powerful. In a world increasingly dominated by technology and urban living, the Browns represented a romantic vision of freedom and family unity. Each week, viewers tuned in to watch them tackle wilderness challenges, from harsh weather conditions to dangerous wildlife encounters. The family's apparent rejection of materialism struck a chord with audiences seeking authenticity in an increasingly artificial world. But as with many reality shows, questions about how real their lifestyle actually was began to surface almost immediately. Billy Brown's journey to Alaska began long before the cameras arrived. Born in 1953 in Fort Worth, Texas, Billy was raised in an upper-middle-class family. By his own account, shared in his self-published memoir, One Wave at a Time, his life took a tragic turn when his parents and sister died in a plane crash when he was 16. According to Billy, this devastating loss led to him being tricked out of his family inheritance, forcing him into a nomadic lifestyle at a young age. He met Amy Branson when she was just 15 and he was 26. They married quickly, a fact that has raised eyebrows over the years, and began their family soon after. Billy had 2 children from a previous marriage before having 7 more with Amy. The couple reportedly headed north to Alaska in the early 1980s, seeking adventure and a new beginning. Billy often described how they lived on a homestead away from civilization, learning survival skills through trial and error. Those early years shaped the family dynamics that would later become the foundation of their television personas, with Billy as the unquestioned patriarch whose word was law among the wolf pack. Life before television wasn't easy for the Browns. They reportedly moved between remote cabins and boats, sometimes squatting on public land. Billy taught his children to hunt, fish, and forage, practical skills that would serve them well in the wilderness. The children didn't attend traditional schools. Instead, their education came from their parents and from the land itself. Amy handled most of the children's education, reportedly teaching them to read, using the Bible and whatever books they could obtain. The family developed their own systems for everything from water collection to food preservation. They learned to build shelters appropriate for the harsh Alaskan climate, using techniques passed down through generations of frontier dwellers, but adapted to their specific needs. These years of genuine struggle and adaptation formed the core skills that would later make them appealing to television producers. While the family would later face accusations of exaggerating their wilderness lifestyle, these formative years did involve significant periods of isolation and self-sufficiency, according to those who knew them before their television fame. Everything changed for the Brown family in 2014 when Discovery Channel premiered Alaskan Bush People. The show presented the Browns as having lived completely off the grid for decades, with the children having little to no exposure to modern society. Early episodes focused on the family's struggles to establish Browntown, their homestead in the Alaskan wilderness, while dealing with challenges like extreme weather, predators, and isolation. The show was an immediate hit for Discovery, drawing millions of viewers fascinated by this seemingly anachronistic family. The production highlighted their unique personalities: Billy's visionary leadership, Amy's gentle strength, Matt's inventiveness, Bam Bam's practicality, Bear's extreme nature, Gabe's sensitivity, Noah's mechanical genius, Birdie's tomboy resilience, and Rain's youthful enthusiasm. Each family member had a clearly defined role both within the family unit and within the narrative structure of the show. Whether this was organic or shaped by producers became a point of contention among viewers, but there's no denying that the formula worked. The show's success transformed the Browns from an obscure family living on the fringes of society to household names with fans around the world. Suddenly, people who had reportedly spent their lives avoiding modern technology were at the center of a media empire, complete with social media accounts, merchandise, and public appearances. It was the beginning of a transformation that would only accelerate in the years to come. The peak years of Alaskan Bush People showcased a family that had mastered their wilderness lifestyle. Viewers tuned in to watch the Browns tackle increasingly ambitious projects, from building elaborate tree houses to constructing water systems. The show emphasized their ingenuity and resourcefulness, with the family creating functional solutions from materials at hand. These achievements, whether building a water-powered washing machine or constructing elevated homes to avoid predators, became signature moments that defined the series. The family's dynamic was equally compelling. Billy's wilderness philosophy, which he called the freedom of the bush, resonated with viewers who harbored their own fantasies of escaping modern society's demands. The siblings' bond, their wolf pack mentality, offered a powerful vision of family unity. Their playful dynamics, from Bear's tree-climbing antics to Matt's unusual inventions, provided lighter moments that balanced the survival challenges. The show carefully cultivated the image of a loving family whose strength came from their connection to each other and to the land. But behind this carefully constructed narrative, cracks were beginning to appear. Observant viewers noticed inconsistencies in the family's supposed isolation. In some scenes, they appeared remarkably clean for people without running water. Their handmade clothes sometimes looked suspiciously store-bought. Locals began to speak out, claiming the family actually stayed in hotels during filming breaks. These whispers of inauthenticity grew louder as the show progressed. But for most fans, the Browns' charisma outweighed these concerns. The family had captured the public's imagination, and whether their lifestyle was entirely authentic seemed secondary to the entertainment and inspiration they provided. Here's where it gets complicated. As the show gained popularity, the Browns faced increasing scrutiny that threatened to undermine their wilderness narrative. In 2016, the family encountered their first major public scandal when Billy and son Bam Bam pleaded guilty to lying on applications for Alaska's Permanent Fund Dividend, which provides annual payments to residents. They had claimed Alaska residency while actually living out of state during certain periods. Both served 30 days of community service as part of their plea deal. This legal trouble forced the show to acknowledge a reality that contradicted its premise. The Browns weren't always living in the Alaskan bush. The revelation damaged the family's credibility with some viewers and emboldened critics who had long claimed the show was largely fabricated. At the same time, the Browns faced a more personal challenge when Ami was diagnosed with advanced lung cancer in 2017. Her diagnosis necessitated a move to the continental United States for treatment, further disrupting the wilderness lifestyle the show had centered on. The family relocated to Washington State, purchasing a 435-acre property. They named North Star Ranch in the North Cascade Mountains. The show's narrative adapted, focusing on the Browns' efforts to establish a new homestead while supporting Ami through her treatment. This dramatic shift in location and circumstances marked a turning point for both the family and the series. While the show attempted to maintain its wilderness focus, the Browns were now undeniably more connected to modern society than ever before. The family that had supposedly shunned civilization was now living much closer to it, raising questions about how much of their previous lifestyle had been authentic. The family's challenges continued to mount. In February 2021, Billy Brown died suddenly at age 68 after suffering a seizure. His death was a devastating blow to the family, whose identity had been so deeply shaped by his leadership and vision. The loss of the family patriarch created both emotional and practical challenges for the remaining Browns. Without Billy's guiding presence, the family dynamics shifted significantly. Ami, still recovering from her cancer treatments, now found herself the elder of the wolf pack. The adult children, who had always deferred to their father's authority, had to renegotiate their roles and responsibilities. The show continued, documenting the family's grief and their attempts to carry on Billy's legacy at North Star Ranch. But these episodes had a markedly different tone. The focus shifted from wilderness survival to emotional survival as the family processed their loss. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, further complications arose. Matt, the oldest son, had left the show several seasons earlier to seek treatment for substance abuse issues. In 2019, he publicly accused production of supplying him with alcohol and claimed much of the show was staged. These allegations further eroded the authentic wilderness narrative that had been the show's foundation. By late 2022, the television landscape had shifted dramatically from when the Browns first appeared on screen. Reality programming was increasingly viewed with skepticism by audiences aware of production manipulation. The Browns' wilderness lifestyle, once novel, now competed with countless social media personalities showcasing similar off-grid living arrangements. The show's ratings declined, and after 14 seasons, Discovery reportedly chose not to renew Alaskan Bush People for a 15th season, though no official cancellation announcement was made. And that's when everything changed. Without the structure and income provided by regular filming, the Brown family members began pursuing separate paths while maintaining their connections to North Star Ranch. As of August 2025, the transformation of the Alaskan Bush People from an isolated wolf pack to modern media personalities is nearly complete. Ami Brown, now in her early 60s, reportedly splits her time between the ranch and a home in a nearby town where she has better access to medical care. Following her successful cancer treatment, she has become an advocate for rural cancer patients, occasionally speaking at events about the challenges of accessing treatment from remote areas. Her journey from teenage bride to family matriarch and cancer survivor has earned her respect from fans who admire her resilience. The siblings have taken diverse paths that reflect both their individual personalities and the influence of their unusual upbringing. Noah, always the inventor of the family, has leveraged his mechanical abilities into a small business creating specialized equipment for off-grid living. He and his wife Rain have expanded their family and reportedly divide their time between North Star Ranch and a workshop in a nearby town. Noah has embraced technology, maintaining an active social media presence where he demonstrates his inventions and provides tips for sustainable living. Bear, self-proclaimed king of extreme, has perhaps stayed closest to the wilderness lifestyle portrayed on the show. He and his wife, Raven, despite reportedly experiencing relationship challenges, raise their children with a focus on outdoor skills and appreciation for nature. Bear has developed a substantial social media following where he documents his adventures and extreme sports activities. His content bridges his bush upbringing with modern adventure sports, creating a unique niche that appeals to fans of the original show and younger outdoor enthusiasts. Bam Bam, Joshua, has taken perhaps the most unexpected path. Following his relationship with producer Allison Kagan, he reportedly pursued educational opportunities and has worked on documentary projects focusing on environmental conservation. His thoughtful nature, always evident on the show, has found expression in advocacy for protecting wilderness areas similar to those where he was raised. Gabe and his wife Raquel have maintained a lower profile than some of their siblings. They reportedly focus on raising their children and maintaining aspects of the self-sufficient lifestyle while incorporating modern conveniences that make family life more comfortable. Gabe has occasionally shared his artwork on social media, revealing a talent for painting that was rarely highlighted on the show. The daughters, Snowbird and Rain, have followed different paths that reflect their distinct personalities. Bird, always the most comfortable with the isolated bush lifestyle, reportedly maintains the most traditional presence at North Star Ranch, caring for the family's animals and maintaining the property. Rain, who came of age in the public eye, has embraced a more modern lifestyle with an active social media presence where she advocates for mental health awareness based on her own experiences with depression. Matt, the oldest son whose relationship with the family has been complicated, reportedly continues his recovery journey while maintaining distance from both the entertainment industry and his family. According to social media reports, he has focused on spiritual growth and helping others with addiction issues, occasionally sharing his experiences on his own terms through online platforms. The Brown family's legacy extends beyond their television presence. During its run, Alaskan Bush People was one of Discovery Channel's most successful programs, reportedly drawing over 5 million viewers at its peak. The show produced over 130 episodes across its 14 seasons, creating a substantial archive of the family's journey from Alaska to Washington. While financial details are closely guarded, industry experts estimate the family earned millions from their television contract, book sales, and other opportunities that arose from their fame. More significantly, the Browns influenced how many Americans view off-grid living. They introduced mainstream audiences to concepts like alternative energy, rainwater collection, and food preservation, practical skills that have gained relevance as interest in sustainability has grown. Their emphasis on family cooperation and self-reliance resonated with viewers seeking stronger connections in an increasingly fragmented society. Yet their legacy is complicated by the persistent questions about authenticity that dogged the show throughout its run. The gap between the show's portrayal of their lifestyle and their actual living situations created disillusionment among some fans. This disconnect reflects broader questions about reality television and the nature of entertainment that blurs the line between documentation and performance. Now, if you're wondering why this story matters beyond simple entertainment, consider what the Brown family represents in our collective imagination. In many ways, the Browns symbolize Americans' complicated relationship with wilderness and technology. Their appeal stemmed from a genuine desire many people feel to reconnect with natural cycles and self-reliance. Even viewers who questioned the show's authenticity were drawn to the ideal it represented: family unity, purpose-driven work, and meaningful connection to the land. The Browns' journey also reflects how quickly media and technology transform our relationship with authenticity. When their show began in 2014, social media was still establishing its cultural dominance. By 2025, the boundaries between reality and performance have blurred for everyone, not just television personalities. In this context, criticizing the Browns for presenting a curated version of their lives seems almost quaint. We now live in a world where nearly everyone manages their public image through carefully selected glimpses of reality. Perhaps most importantly, the Brown family story reminds us that beneath the editing and production choices, real human experiences unfold. They have celebrated births and mourned deaths. They've faced illness, addiction, legal troubles, and the normal challenges of family relationships, all while navigating the unusual pressure of public scrutiny. Whatever one believes about the authenticity of their television persona, their human journey deserves recognition and respect. In the end, this isn't just a story about a television show. It's about the tension between our ideals and our realities, how we navigate the gap between how we wish to live and the compromises modern life demands. It's about family bonds that persist through changes and challenges. And it's about the wilderness that continues to capture our imagination, even as fewer of us experience it directly. The Brown family's transformation from 2014 to 2025 mirrors broader cultural shifts in how we view self-sufficiency, family, and authenticity. Their journey from the isolated wilderness of Alaska to their current lives, more connected but still shaped by their unique experiences, offers something valuable to consider in our own lives. How do we balance our desire for connection with our need for independence? How do we maintain our core values while adapting to changing circumstances? These questions, which the Browns have answered in their own distinctive way, remain relevant for all of us. If you found this exploration of the Alaskan Bush People's journey meaningful, consider sharing your thoughts in the comments below. What aspects of their story resonated with you most? Which other families or individuals who've lived unconventional lives would you like to see featured in future videos? Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth looks at the stories behind the shows that have shaped our culture. Stick around. There are always more layers to uncover beneath the surface of the stories we think we know.